Hello on this wonderful Monday, day after Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, everybody, all the mothers. Hello, Cheryl Anderson here. Now, my topic today is, it's ever wondered what people really think of you? Now, I think everybody has gone through this at some point or other in their life. And what we wonder, we wonder, what did they think of me? It's different in every situation. Say, going for a job interview, going on a date, going to a party, anything, all right? All the different things that we do around other people. Well, there would be different questions in our mind, like, what did they think of me? In an interview would be different to the what does that person think of me? So it's a date, you're going on a date. Yeah, it's always, we have this interest in how we are being perceived, okay? Because everybody, for the most part, is, has some idea of who they want to be, what they want to be, what they want to achieve. Now, because in our world, we're dictated to by mainstream media in all its forms, okay? We think about it. You watch television, you look at your phone, you read a magazine, you watch a movie, you listen to a video clip. Hi, Robert, how you doing? So everything that we do is driven by what ideas are put into our head of what we need to be, who we need to be, what you need to be achieving, or what are you aiming for. It's quite false, because what we're treated as a consumer only. All right, mainstream media and the whole thing, right, is all about us as consumers, not as individuals. All right, so this world right now, thank you, is the humans are in a state where a lot of us are breaking away from the mind-made brainwashing, all right? It starts when we're very little, when we're in school, it's herd mentality. Hey. So we're taught to not ask questions, to follow authority, try to be a good girl or a good boy. So we're constantly made feel that we're not good enough to start off with. If you heard great things when you were growing up, great job, you did that really well, you're so clever, wow, you worked that out on your own. We would grow up to be very different people. But when we're dictated to, and this is it was planned, this whole thing on the planet was planned. So, but when we're dictated to about, here, look at this picture, you could be like her or him. Hey, look at this, if you had this car, you'd be this happy. If you were this size, you could fit these clothes and you'd be even happier. The whole system is designed to make you feel that you are not enough as you are. That it's nearly even a crime to be not enough as you are. You must constantly be a good consumer and go and buy things to make your life better. Well, anyone who's gone and bought lots of things, me, over the years, realizes that they don't change who you are. They change your experience in the moment of buying them or reading it or watching or experiencing or eating or whatever the moment is. We feel different in the moment because for that little moment, we feel like this might be the thing that gets me over the line, that makes me that ideal person. But when the dust settles, what happens is we realize that we're still this same person, whether we had that car or the new television or the better holiday or the better shoes or the better, surgery or hair or all of these things. So what happens is we continually go through this cycle like a little hamster on a wheel. We buy something and we feel good. Yeah, plonk. We don't feel great anymore, because it didn't address the issue, and the issue is that you are fine and you are 100% fantastic as you are. If you want more, that's great. Go and be more, learn more, read a book, Go find like-minded people, have conversations, have great conversations with people, have conversations that come from here, not from repeating some dribble that you saw on Facebook or a movie or whatever. Because growth is there. Every human has the ability to excel, to become what it is, that when you close your eyes at night when you're in bed and you think, I like me, I really like me. Even though I don't have a brand new car, or I haven't been to Paris, or I don't have blah, 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 blah. All right. Hi, Annie. So what we think people think about us starts to play heavy into our mind when we're on the search for who we are, because we feel broken, because we're continually being treated like a consumer, that you need something more to fill the hole in your life. So then what happens is we start to need, not backup, what's the word I want? Nearly like support via words about who we are. Oh, you're doing great. Yes, I like that. Or, positive words from people. Reinforcement, validation is possibly the word I really wanted. So we start looking to other people to get that. When in truth, no one can ever give you that on any level that's going to last like longer than an afternoon or a weekend. That's just how it is. You can find temporary relief or temporary happiness or temporary, elevation by what people are telling you. But what happens is it's not what you believe. It's not what you think. So it doesn't stay in your head. It's just this little thing. So you feel good for a moment and then feels down again. Hi, Lois. So when we start to look to other people to validate us, that's why we want to know, what do they think of me? Like, did I measure up? Did I look good? Did what I was wearing impress anybody? Or because we hide our authentic selves. We're taught to hide them because we're made to feel that who we are on a natural level is just not enough. You're just not enough. Here, have this new thing, have this, have a new lipstick, get new shoes, have another holiday. So in the hurry, in the race to find the things that we think will give us the happiness that we want, will give us the sense of satisfaction, like after you've had a really tasty meal. You know that wonderful feeling you have where you're full and you feel good, and all the chemicals that you're generating in your brain because you're having great thoughts, all of those chemicals start dropping down and they're hitting your organs and your body and you're feeling really wonderful? That's what we want. That's what everybody wants. But you're never going to get it outside of your own skin, ever. You can get feedback from people. Yeah, that's great, and absolutely, it's wonderful. We definitely need that. However, it's never going to be anything that you could build a structure on. Do you know what I mean? It's not a very firm foundation. You may have a great friend who tells you all the wonderful things today. Yes, you're this, you're that, you're that. Oh, tell them to, if they don't like it, tell them to rack off. Oh, they don't know you. You're fantastic. Now, what happens when you fall out with that friend, or the friend gets married, moves to another state or whatever, and they're not around anymore? How does it hold true anymore? The only way that you get to any point of self-satisfaction and a place where you can just feel comfortable in your meat suit and comfortable with who you are and what you do is when you decide for yourself that you are enough, that your authentic self is nothing short of amazing, regardless of what mainstream media tell you, regardless of your being a consumer, because that's how we're treated on the planet. There is no authenticity and there's no being yourself allowed. You're to be a consumer. You're to stay broken and you're to keep buying. Look around. That's what it's all about. Work hard, earn money, buy. Try to find a happy life outside of your own skin. But it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I know for me it didn't. it took for me to stop listening to other people, to stop looking outward everywhere for this sense of self. You know, I had such poor self-esteem, well, little to none. So it was constantly on the look for something that would make me feel the way I wanted to feel. You know, when I looked at other people, they always looked like they had it together. Like, oh, look at her over there. She's doing so well and she looks so happy. Well, I want what she's got. But in all truth, she's hiding behind something as well. She's pretending to have it all together because the world loves people that have it all together, right? Don't they? Actually, they don't. Do you know what humans respect and what we really like is when someone tells their stories of truth about being broken, about being hurt or traumatized, or, you know, all of the stuff that makes a human a human. We're not so pretty that we hop up and we're all sparkly and everything goes great every day. That's absolute rubbish. What happens is we up and down and round in our vain attempt to find ourselves. So in truth, really, the only one that's ever going to know you well enough to understand you fully is yourself. Now, which brings me to the thing I read a few days back, which was so good in a way because it gave me, even though I'm very open-minded and I think very big concepts, and not much of it is too unbelievable for me. However, I love it when I'm shown another angle to look at things, or you get one sentence, but someone adds a bit more. So it stops being a sentence and becomes a paragraph. Like, I love that. Do you know what I mean? You get more information. So you can think more. You can think in a critical manner for yourself instead of being dictated to about how you should think. Now, I'm going to read you this that I saw online, which really made me think about, like I said, how was I thinking about other people? Like, really, for the most part, I don't really care what other people think anymore, because I know that they got their own crap going on in their own head. And as well, half the time they don't even notice me. Yet here's me over here burning 1 million calories in my brain going, I wonder what they thought. I wonder what they thought. So, but this, I'm going to read it because I just think it's really good. If you have a sense of self-consciousness where you're worried about what people think, or you are really concerned about your image, I think this is really, really, really powerful. All right. I don't know who wrote it. It came up as a meme on Facebook. Now, it says, I read a book that blew my mind. The main character goes crazy once he realizes that no one really knows him. The gist is that the person that you think of as yourself exists only for you, and even you don't really know who that is. Every person you meet, have a relationship, or even make eye contact on the street with creates a version of you in their heads. You're not the same person to your mum, your dad, your siblings than you are to a co-worker, your neighbours, or your friends. There are thousands of different versions of yourself out there in people's minds. So are you that exists in each version, and yet your you or yourself isn't really a someone at all. Now, when you realise that everything that goes on in your life starts as a thought and then becomes an emotion and then an action, right? That's thought precedes everything. Thought's very fast. So how do I put this? Everything's a movie. We play movies in our heads. When you're driving, you might be thinking about work and thoughts are in and out, you know. They're pretty random. However, it's always a bit of a movie. There's a bit of a story going. We don't necessarily think in still pictures, a still picture and a still picture and a still picture. We think in movie form. We tell stories. And what happens as well, now this is a well-known fact, and I've said it before, the human brain, the mind, can't tell the difference between something that really happened and an extremely vivid thought. Now think about that. It's pretty scary stuff. So when people are in these movies in their head, let's say they're reliving something where they feel that they were slighted or betrayed or something negative. So they're going over it. Oh, I should have said this. I should have said that. Oh, I wish they'd just drop off the planet. Or so you start getting into this really elevated, emotionally driven thoughts. It's a movie. And it becomes very vivid because we can think whatever we want. We let it go. Most people just let their thoughts go random. It's just this random flurry of cells, binging and bopping around the place. So that what happens is the movies that you play start to become indistinguishable from the truth. Now, I used to have very vivid thoughts because I had terrible self-esteem. So I was constantly overthinking. How could I be better? You're not good enough, Cheryl. You're just such a loser. You're so disgusting. If you could just do better, then you would be okay. And what would happen, instead of dealing with things at the time, because I didn't feel good about myself and I didn't feel that I just didn't have the courage to speak up because I didn't think that I'd be able to back myself up, Like when you think you're crap, then you think you're crap, right? So I would go off and think about things to the max, over and 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 over. I mean, really analytical, lateral. I mean, I would just go at myself. I was just brutal. I was horrible. It was just, I look at it now, I think, how did I not pick up on that? But I didn't, because there was no part of me that liked me. So there was no part of me looking out for the lies or the unfairness or the bullying or the self-harm, by emotional self-harm, I mean. So in understanding that the movie you play in your head can be changed in an instant, this is why some people's recounting of what they consider their truth in a court of law is a problem. Because people can really think they remember something, but they don't. Because this is how the brain works. The brain was not designed for all of this mishmash rubbish. So it does what it does. But if we keep throwing stupid things at it and wanting it to do stupid things instead of what it's designed to do, then we get silly results that don't serve us, that don't help us, that don't enlighten us. They're not positive. They're not there for our well-being. So when you look at the movies in your head that are playing, let's go back to that story. Say you see someone at Coles or the supermarket, right? And you're super nice to them, all right? You don't know, you're not guaranteed that they're going to remember you in a nice light. You hope they do. But all they're going to remember is what they remember while they've got their movies playing in their head, all right? So they're not always paying attention to you. In fact, some people might even not notice that you've been nice. So they didn't even remember you, even though you had an interaction. Because I say to people, and I have for a very, very long time, we flatter ourselves to think people notice such differences or such detail in our lives. Like you might go, oh, my lipstick's a bit crooked or my eyebrow isn't on right. Who's going to notice that? You flatter yourself to think people are out there looking. If I was on a magazine cover, then I would be justified in thinking that, okay, but I'm not. So we place so much stock in others and what they think of us. Yet when you think about that story I just read, this one, you realise that for all of that energy, that mental energy that we burn up, imagining what people have thought of us or our actions or our kindness or our generosity or our patience, whatever it might be, the whole lot is an absolute farce. An absolute farce. And in fact, like you go out, okay, let's say this, you go to the supermarket. Now you had to have walked past at least maybe 20 or 30 people by the time you've gotten out of your car, gone to the supermarket and got back in your car. Let's say you saw 50. How many of those do you remember in any detail? And what are the details that you remember? Sometimes the details that you remember are only current or valid because of the way you're thinking that day. If you're feeling really frumpy and fat, well, then chances are you're going to start noticing other people the same, of whatever the drama is in your head. Your unconscious mind, because this is its job, is it goes, oh, you're fat and frumpy. I can find more proof to prove that, yes, you're fat and frumpy. I'll find more fat and frumpy people. So you might see 2 fat, frumpy people out of the 50, but they're the only 2 that you notice. Yet the next week you might be worried about, I don't know, something different. I don't know. I really can't think right now. So what would happen? It's like if you buy a yellow VW, suddenly you see every other yellow VW. All right. So your mind is the same way. So the things that you notice are directly related to the things going on in your mind. So that's a bit biased, isn't it? What happens to the other 48 people you didn't notice? See? So the whole idea that people are even thinking about us is just weird when you really look at it. And it's a bit self-indulgent in a manner. This is what I thought of myself when, years back when I started looking at this. I remember being a little bit embarrassed and thinking, oh my God, Cheryl, you think everyone's thinking about you. Oh, they don't like this, they do like that. Really? No one's thinking about you, Cheryl. That's the truth. And the ones that do, if it's good, that's great. Then there's the ones that think horrible things. Well, whatever. So in understanding that it's actually a loss, a dead loss in worrying about what other people think of you. Because even if they do tell you, they're going to tell you in the form of the movie that they've seen. You can't see their movie. It's the same as when someone tries to explain a real movie to you. Let's say it's a 2-hour-long movie, but they've got 1 minute to tell you about it. Do you know, it's nearly impossible to understand that movie from your perspective. So it's the same with people. You're never going to be on the exact same wavelength anyway. So what they think of you is never going to make any sense, or you're going to feel hurt by it, because all you really want to hear is the good stuff, because that's what your ego wants. It wants to hear the good stuff. Oh, I'm a good person. Yes, they love me. But that's not the truth. So also in what you think about other people, think about that. We let it run free in our minds. We can be a bit damaging with our thoughts one day, yet the next day we'll have untold amounts of patience and love and empathy for that same person or that same situation or that same shortcoming. So what I'm getting at is any pursuit in any direction of wanting to know what another person thinks of you is an absolute loss and a waste of time, an absolute waste of time. It's using your imagination to lock yourself in, to bring your vibration down and keep you in this what if, this constant, you have got no answer. You're just waiting to hear something that'll calm you down. So my request for everybody is, what do you think about yourself? Because let's face it, the people that really like themselves, don't we like them? People like Richard Branson, I like him as an example. He likes himself. He likes what he does. He takes himself serious when he needs to. He has a joke when he needs to. He is not at all bothered or put out by what other people think, because he understands the power of, you have to like yourself. So what happens is when you like yourself, there's no battle anymore. The battle stops. I remember battling myself. It was horrible, 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 horrible time. For years, I just wanted to crawl out of my own skin. It was just hideous. But when I got to the point where I realized, because I stopped watching mainstream media, and if I want something, like I like sci-fi, if I want to watch something, I download it and watch it. I don't turn the television on. I don't read the newspapers, nothing like that, because they were robbing me. They weren't encouraging me to be myself. They weren't encouraging me to look at the great things, or even to look at the things that aren't so great, but to look at it with eyes of love and acceptance and hope, in knowing that I can do better or I can do something about it, that the power is within me, not someone else, and certainly not the mainstream media and corporate crap, because it's rubbish. But when I looked at who I was really humbled, because through all of it, I had become what I thought was a nice person. You know, I liked who I was. I liked my core values. I had actually made contact with my core values. I got to the point where I realized that it's my worth is never going to be something that I get or are told outside of my skin. It happens inside when we talk to ourselves, when we accept ourselves, and when we love ourselves unconditionally. Unconditionally. You can't just like part of yourself and not like that other bit. I don't like that. Or I don't like how I do that. Why? Why do you not like how you do that or how you do whatever? Because somebody else told you? Or it's not what is happening on telly, all the nice, shiny, bright people? You can't just like a little bit and not all of it. Because if you don't like it, you can change it. Any moment you want to, you can change anything in your life. Because everything starts as a thought. And there's only one thinker in your mind. You might be thinking and throw it in the air and think by default and just let life, like you just fall through life, like a lot of people do, constantly whinging and moaning because they don't like what's going on. And it's like, well, if you don't want to think for yourself, then you're going to have to just suck it up when crap happens. Or, like a metaphor, a boat and an ocean. The ocean is your life. The boat is you. Get in your bloody boat, hang on to that wheel and start steering the damn thing where you want to go. There's no one out there. There's no, boat police. We're trained to think there is, but there's not. Is you get out there, you take your boat where the hell you want to go. That's what life's about. And that's where we are on a human level, on an evolutionary scale, is when people now are turning away from mainstream media rubbish, stupid television and all this. It's just ridiculous. It's just blather. And people are starting to think for themselves. They're starting to value themselves. So community makes a bigger, not appearance, community becomes stronger when we realize who we are. We stop participating in life in our head, constantly thinking about, I don't know, random thoughts that are put in there via whatever, or, television, that sort of thing. But we start to look at our lives. We breathe in, we breathe out. We live in the moment, because the moment is always where you're taking your breath. That's where you have your power. Change your mind, keep, where you are. You can do whatever you want in the moment. So I think that's what that story is about. It's about diminishing the importance of what other people think about you. Because in truth, they're not thinking about you. They're just not. Or if they are, it's such a tiny little thing because they don't know you. It's like if I walk up and down the street and I look in someone's house and I look through a window and I can see, a bit of the kitchen, the lounge room. I can see a door that looks like it goes off to a bedroom. I can see a couple of windows. Look at that. I can see a painting on the wall. Do I know everything that's in that house? No. I can see a little bit. Now, imagine that house is another person. And through what I've seen, maybe an interaction, maybe they're a friend, maybe they're just someone at a checkout and I'm standing behind them waiting to get through. Wouldn't it be rude to assume I knew everything in that house? The story of the house, the history of the house, every stick of furniture in the house, how it made it into the house, who uses it in that house? No, I don't know. I have no idea. I can take a guess and that's it. And that's how people look at you or you look at people. So if we can take a load off by not giving two quacks about what people think and just being our own amazing selves, where you just wake up in the morning and go, okay, well, I'm just going to do my best. And when my thoughts start picking on me, because I'll know, because I'll start feeling down and feeling, then I'm going to change the thought. I'm just going to reach for a better thought because this is my life. It's not about anyone else. It's just about me. And then what happens is you find that you're less reliant on people. The emotional neediness goes away. And you actually become this amazing person that vibrates at a level and on an energy that is so attractive, literally and figuratively. Attractive literally by way of you look nicer, you're happier because you're not you're coming with a much higher energy. And figuratively, because you're giving of an energy, do you know what I mean? You're coming to it with an energy that is attractive in the universal sense, like magnets attract, that sort of thing. So you're attractive, and in that attractive sense, that means you're attracting to you those people which are like you, because like attracts like. It's a scientific fact. All right? Long time ago, hundreds of years ago, they knew that. So for my today's video, it was simply about just giving you a perspective to look at that's not the regular way of looking at yourself. I mean, you read those words a couple of times and you realize, hey, I just got to look at what I think about people. How much did I notice those 50 people at the supermarket? And what did I notice? And next week I might go in and I'm really angry, or I'm really annoyed, or I've got no patience, or whatever. I'm going to notice different things, but then by the time I come home, I'm not going to really think about them again. That's just how it is. So I'm all for individuality, authenticity, own your crap, own your things that you think aren't great or aren't pretty or aren't socially liked. Screw that. Screw it. You were born amazing in the first place. You just forgot. That's okay. With all this brainwashing crap that goes on through whatever we look at, like we're getting fed through our eyes. What are we looking at? What are we listening to? It's just going straight into the brain. Oh, yes. You just become a little bit more picky about what you put into here. And what you'll find is what comes out of here is going to be much more self-serving in a positive manner. So I'm all for everyone being themselves. You know, I'm tired of, everyone being this, gotta be this, be that, do this, look like that, sound like this. I think just be yourself, warts and all. And once you do like yourself, your whole life changes. Because like I said, your energy goes up, like attracts like, so really cool things start happening. And it's the proof, and it starts immediately. And then, it's a wonderful place to be. And then, you lead by example. You don't have to tell anyone you're doing this. In fact, it's possibly better to keep it to yourself, because there's a lot of dream stealers or people that want to rain on your parade. They think they're coming from a place of love or whatever. Oh, let me tell you, or let me be honest, or I'm going to tell you something because I think you need to know. No. So give it a try. It's really, really worth it. And you know what? Take a load off and just like yourself. It's valid. It's worthy. And look, this is what I think of you. Nothing. But I have absolute faith that you can like yourself and that you can make great changes in your life, same as I did. So that's my Monday video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've gotten something valuable from it. And again, this is something you can teach your children. It's primarily aimed at women. I have a few male people that watch, and that's great because, this is general information. However, there's a lot that is aimed at women because we think so differently. The brains are very different. So if you found something of value in here, please share. Sharing's caring. I also send all these videos over to my YouTube channel because they're easier to find, as I've said. Also, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, it will alert you each time a new video is posted. It's just a little easier. So thank you very much for coming in and sitting and listening. I enjoy it. And I look forward to coming back on Friday with another original topic. Alrighty then, take it easy everybody, be well and have a most excellent week ahead. Bye now.